Thanks for being here, though. I do appreciate that.
No, it's good to be here.
I'm sure you're a busy guy.
It's definitely very busy at the moment.
Yeah, is that right?
Much like yourself, I'm sure.
Yeah. Would you say it's one of the busiest seasons of your life, or?
I would say the last year is definitely the busiest I've ever been, like not even close. But I'd say the last sort of 3 months it's sort of consolidated a little bit more. There was a few months, there was 6 months there of just absolute madness. I'd say the lead into Christmas is going to be really crazy. We've got a couple of new studios opening, and we're building out Australia. And we've sort of got some transition stuff going on with Christchurch. And yeah, so it's this next 3 months, I'd say, will be crazy again. But I feel like I'm on a bit of a lull at the moment, like a little bit of a month of like a bit of an exhale.
Bit of breathing room.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that. When was the first site outside of the main one? When did you open the first?
That would have been about 18 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah,
pretty rapid scale.
Yeah, it has been, actually. Someone said it a while back, that whole, the weeks go slow and the years go fast. It feels like that. It always feels slow. Like, it always feels like, oh, why haven't we been able to get this place open sooner,
Yeah.
But then you step back and it's like, well, we've got 7 studios open. There's 6 more opening, 2 in the next month. I think when we sort of zoom out a little bit, it's like, actually, it's quite quick. Yeah.
Things are happening.
Things are happening, but sometimes it feels like it could be faster.
Yeah, yeah, it's a weird thing that we've got, right? As I guess, like entrepreneurs or business owners, it's that weird sort of constant dissatisfaction. Like, how can I be doing more? How can I be leveraging more? How can I be more effective? At least that's me, anyway.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the more you understand something, the more you realize it's more complicated than you think. And so I think that's probably what it is. Like, for example, getting full set of plans drawn up for a new studio. So this can't be that complicated. Surely we can get this turned around in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, rather than 8 to 10 weeks, Whereas then you get in, you peek under the hood a little bit around what actually goes on in there. It's like, okay, I get it. I can step back. So I think that probably comes from a little bit of misunderstanding around the way things really work. But there's that tension, obviously, because as leaders, we've got to make sure we're pushing. We're always trying to find efficiencies, and we're not moving too slow. And it's not speed for speed's sake. That's not what it's about. We know what we're doing is making some real impact. And so we feel like we owe it, to people too, to make sure we get these studios open so people can start using them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that was the word I was going to use, actually, is impact. It's a much better way to put growth or expansion, I think, isn't it? Because that's ultimately what I think most people want, is to have impact in a positive way. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah, well, I think so. Because, once again, if you step back, it's like, why are we growing? Why would we think about wanting to grow? Why would we need to grow? The thing for me is, like, we've got a really clear mission with what we're trying to achieve here with O Studio. It's to make recovery and well-being as understood, as accepted, and as practiced as physical fitness. And so if you think about the physical fitness industry 50 years ago, 40 years ago, no one was going to a gym. No one was even thinking about lifting. Why would I lift heavy things?
Yes.
What's the point of that?
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen Anchorman, the movie Anchorman.
Yeah.
He talks about jogging, or maybe it's yogging.
Oh, you mean yogging?
A silent J. It's like, that's what it was like back in the day. Like, no one was thinking about taking time to look after your physical fitness. Because why? But as the understanding started to change, as it's like, actually, this can improve my quality of life. I'm happier. I'm living longer. I'm living healthier. Then the understanding started to creep in. The acceptance sort of came a little bit later. So I still remember my old man talking about people that would go to gyms and be like, these prima donnas standing in front of the mirror, what are they wasting their time for? So the acceptance took a little bit later, a little bit longer than the understanding. But once that understanding and acceptance was sort of established, people wanted to start practicing physical fitness. So the need for gyms exploded. And so literally we've got this massive explosion, especially even over the last 10 years, 15 years, of gyms, of community-based gyms where people come together to look after their physical health. You can have physical activity stuff at home, that some people will do, but people are looking for a space, a premium space, to go and look after their physical health. I think what we're seeing is there's a bit of an understanding starting to creep into the market that actually there's more to physical health than just physical fitness. There's what does stress do to the body? What can heat do to the body? How can you use cold? How do you use breath? what are these other skills and services that you can sort of engage with that and equally improve your quality of life? So we try to pull all that together under one roof, that people come together and do that.
Hey, quick interruption. When I'm not podcasting, I'm working on growing Alt and working with clients as my main role as a business coach. Right now, I'm looking to meet more fellow business owners. The reason is simple. The more people I know, the more value I can bring, whether it's through coaching, the podcast, or just connecting good people. If you're based in Christchurch, let's grab a coffee. If you're further afield, let's jump on a call. Now, let's get back to the episode.
It's going to be interesting to see where we end up in 5-10 years' time with regards to, recovery, health tech in general, medical tech. Where does it overlap, right? Wearable, devices. I think it's just a question of time. And how fast things will evolve.
Yeah, I agree. It's an area that we're leaning into quite heavily at the moment, like understanding. Once again, I hate to keep on using the physical fitness analogy, but it seems to stick, it seems to work. But some people like just running or like just lifting, and they don't really need to see what's going on. They feel better. They go and do something and they feel better. It's like, cool, that's enough. And that's great. And it's the same with us. People come and they might do a sauna and ice bath session, or they might do a massage, or they might have a float, and cool, they feel better. But there's also this other group of people that really want to understand what's actually happening in their body. What's actually why would I spend my time in a zero gravity, zero stimulation environment where, I'm really going inwards rather than going out? What's the point of that? And so technology, wearables, how do we utilize this technology that's coming to make sure that we can give people accurate feedback and track what's actually going on in someone's life? And I mean, I can see you've got Whoop there as well. I'm a massive fan of it, and I've worn it every day for probably 2 years now.
Yeah. And
you'll see what's going on in there, I'm sure. But as it started to understand me more, it's starting to prompt me more in the right direction around actually, your stress levels are creeping up. The last time you've done this, the last 3 times you've done this, it's dropped your stress by that. So I'd recommend booking something in tomorrow. That's the level I think we can get to, is this is what's going on in you now, and this is going to have the best impact. And so that's something that I'm trying to figure out how we integrate into all our studios.
Yeah, cool. How far away do you think that would be if you had to guess?
We can do pilot type stuff now with groups of people using their own stuff, their own devices, and that's probably going to be the easiest way to do it. But I'd love to build, without jumping around too much, we're working with the Australian tech guys to see how we can integrate everything together.
Oh, wow.
And so have our own sort of platform there. It's going to take a while, I suppose, is the short answer.
Yeah.
Longer than I'd want it to.
Yeah.
And so in the interim, it's how do we utilize what's already out there and give people some good feedback.
Yeah, right. Because can you export data from that? Is there an API out?
Yeah, there is. There is. And once again, you know what's going on in the space. Everything's evolving so quickly. And so even this morning we were looking at some stuff. It's coming. It's just how we do it. Because it's got to be easy.
It's got to be easy. Yeah.
It can't be clunky, and it's one of the fundamental parts of what we do at O Studio is things have to be easy.
Yeah.
Pricing has to be easy. Membership understanding has to be easy. Booking has to be easy. Like finding the spot, finding a location, parking, getting in, understanding what you need to do when you arrive through a service, what happens afterwards. Like how do we make all those things where, like if we're trying to make someone feel better, like at every step, are we adding to that or taking away from that? How can we remove an extra click from a booking system because it's harder?
Yeah.
And how can we make people arrive at a service and be like, I'm so prepared because it's been, everything's simple here.
Seamless, yeah.
How do I know how to get into a float room quickly without being like, I'm confused of where I am? Like, what's the environment doing to add to that feeling or take away from that feeling at every stage? Like getting real detailed on that customer journey is, I think, our most important thing to nail.
I love that. Yeah, I guess that's one of the advantages of scale is that it's easier to do testing. It's, there's just more. There's more data. It's just you've got more ability, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's. It's a combination, isn't it, of data, but then just getting in there and experiencing it yourself and watching people and talking with people, that sort of qualitative sort of analysis. we had, I think, 118,000 visits into an O studio last year.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of data, there's a lot of understanding. Like, I just know we can be so much better though for each of those people. The experience could be better, and because that's I think our USP is we create the ultimate experience. It's not a sauna, it's not a nice bath. It's this experience that people are walking into.
Yeah.
And so, that's what sort of I'm obsessed with, I think, is like how do we make sure the experience is just incredible.
Incredible, yeah. I love that. Well, cheers for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
I quite like these drinks.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan, yeah.
Fan, actually. I am. I've sort of, I think we were speaking prior to the recording, and I reached out to these guys a couple of years ago now, and I just love everything about the brand, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do. It tastes good. I do. I feel like I get that little hit.
Bit of a hit, yeah, totally agree.
But that sort of lasting sort of feeling of it as well. But
yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I don't typically buy a lot of drinks, but these are the one thing that I actually do purchase. So,
have you tried what's the pink one?
Moody?
I think that might be what it is.
Yeah, the prebiotic one? Or?
Oh, it's still Arepa.
Oh, okay. Different one.
It's they've got like a calm one.
Oh, yes.
I've got a few different sort of like a performance and something, and then a calmer, but the pink one, I can't remember what it's called, but that's really, really good too. It's not as strong.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Yeah. I think that's the one they supplied for the Momentum event we did recently, that bigger event at Westpac.
Yeah. Nice.
At first, I just thought it was the light, or I just thought that the bottles were. Yeah. I thought it was like the calm one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, it is a different flavor.
Yeah.
So that's cool. No, it's very good. It's good to see like a lot of New Zealand entrepreneurship and brands and development, and I guess with technology, it's allowed for perhaps I wouldn't say easier scaling, but kind of easier scaling.
Yeah.
Especially in the product business, right?
Well, I mean, I think about when we opened Cloud9 Float Club 10 years ago, and when we opened O Studio 6 years ago. Like, if I had the tools that we have now back then, it would have been 100 times easier.
Yeah.
I mean, I even look at our operations manuals that we've got with O Studio, and that, like, I'm not joking here, that would have taken me a year of like just meticulously going through everything around how do we do everything? How do we run a studio? Like, what do we actually do here, so that we can provide an owner with like, this is the Bible manual of how we do everything at O Studio, from finding locations to negotiating leases. We've got templates that they send to agents, to developers, that show what O Studio is about, with with sort of really well designed things, because we know that no one really knows what recovery wellness is. So how can we give an owner the ability to really get a great deal on a lease?
Yeah.
Through to fit outs, through to pre-launch marketing, through to sales and marketing and education on so everything's built into this sort of, like, we call it like our Bible, really. It's our O Studio manual.
Yeah.
Like, I think with AI now, if I was to try and rebuild that, back then it would take me a 20th of the time. You know what I mean?
Incredible.
It is. It's like, AI doesn't do it for you. It's the combination of, like, a doctor with an AI tool is very different to me with an AI tool who's trying to give someone medical advice.
Yes, that's it.
So, like, our IP alongside can just expedite things and make things so much faster and sharper. And tech's definitely made things easier.
Like an amplifier, right?
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
And when you think you're using it effectively, think that you're not. Because there's other ways, there's more things. Like even this morning, like integrations between platforms, that's something that we haven't utilised enough, and we're starting to really utilise now. There's lots of opportunity out there for anyone wanting to get into business.
It's totally wild, and even just talking about the wearable tech and just the possibilities with those integrations and automations, and just how much easier it is now than, say, even a few years ago. Like, you would have had to have thrown so much money at development costs, but now there's all these no-code solutions, and we've got a guy, Diego, that we've been doing a bit of work with, just in terms of using like a platform to connect everything and just what's possible. There's really no limitations. No, it's really just up to your own imagination. So some of the stuff we've been doing with, like, like recording the coaching sessions and then analyzing them and running them through some prompts and then consolidating them and then spitting out a summary and a follow-up. It's incredible.
It really is. It really is.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's a real leveler, I reckon, at this stage.
Big time.
We were talking about this the other day. I wonder, you fast forward 10 years, has it become more of a leveler, or has it become, has it sort of widened the gap, economically, socially, education-wise? At this stage, everyone can access this now, and if you're not engaging in it, and you want to improve something, then you're making a mistake. You should be engaging in it heavily, more than what you think you should be engaging in it, is my sort of take. But it gives people the tools to really get so far ahead than what they could 2 years ago.
Yeah, I agree.
If you've got any interest in starting something or understanding something more, like, you've just got all those tools at your fingertips.
Even just last night, I was on YouTube and this video popped up with some 18-year-old that has started a business that's doing 1.8 or 1.4 million a month in revenue, and so it's called Cal AI. It's that one now. So it's essentially an app that you take a photo of the food and it gives you the calories and macros.
There we go.
And so this guy learned how to code when he was 12 or 13 or something.
Yeah.
And he's just developed this and he's scaled it and in his way.
That's so good.
And so like you look back 20 years ago when I was sort of starting out the business journey, it was just different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was easier or worse. It was just totally different, right?
Yeah. Do you think business is for everyone?
No, absolutely not. No, I think it's for a pretty small subsector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why?
Yeah, why do you think that?
I think there's some wiring that needs to be present, and I don't know what to describe that as, but I think it's a combination of risk tolerance, critical thinking, belief, problem solving. I think there's heaps of words that you can use, but I just don't think it's for everyone.
I agree.
I mean, I heard a stat recently. I think it was an American stat. It was like 1 in 10 people are entrepreneurs or self-employed. So it sort of gives you a bit of a visual, right?
Yeah.
If it's only 10%, it's not that many.
No. I couldn't agree more. It's one of the first questions I ask when someone reaches out around, like, I'm interested in wellness, I'm looking at business, like, is there something here? And what I'm trying to figure out quickly is, are you wired for business?
Have you got it?
Because if you don't want to do your own, if you haven't got those sort of skill sets that you've just spoken about, or mindsets or characteristics, however you want to put it, I'd say it's more characteristics or traits, then don't stop now. Because I think running, having control of your time and control of your money and control of where you're working, when and how, there's sort of this vision out there of what it is that it's very attractive to everyone, but what it takes to achieve that, and I think is it takes a specific type of skill set, I think, or characteristics or traits to really achieve that, and people can get themselves into trouble, I think, quite quickly unless they really understand themselves, a bit of self-awareness around what's the right thing for them.
Yeah, I've got this other theory, and this is very unproven, but of that 10%, I feel like there's probably only another maybe 10 to 20% that are actually, passionate, like in their sweet spot. They've found their thing. They're operating, they're scaling, they're capable and competent. I feel like there's a huge portion that find themselves in business, like they're almost accidental entrepreneurs. Like they've been a plumber and they're like, yeah, I can do this. Like, yeah, I'll do this. And so they might not love it, but they're in it, right? And so they've sort of found themselves in a position where they're technically self-employed, but it's closer to a job, right?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I guess just like there's that other percentage of that quadrant that's like, they could be in the minority, like they kind of want it, but they're also maybe not willing to do the thing. Because the thing's always the hard bit, right?
Yeah.
And that sucks. And nobody wants to do the hard thing.
No.
But I think that's what separates the sort of extreme outliers from the norm, right?
Yeah, and even just that statement, that's so true. No one wants to do the hard thing.
No, it's no different than the ice bath, right?
Well, it is.
You don't really want to get in there, but you know it's going to be good for you.
Yeah. No, I just reckon that's a fundamental principle. Like, I read a great book a long time ago. It's called The Obstacle is the Way.
Oh, yeah.
And the essence being effectively, you have to lean into challenges. If there's anything that's like that you're wanting to avoid, like walk towards it. And I think there's two benefits that come from that sort of mindset. Like one is that because most people take the easy option, if 90% of people are taking the easy route and you're choosing to take the hard route, just by sheer numbers, your chance of success is higher. Your chance of being successful in that is higher because there's less people there, effectively. But even if you fail or if you come up short, the learnings that you get from taking the hard route stand you in such good stead for the next thing that you can sort of swing towards. So, I mean, it was probably halfway through my rugby career that penny really dropped for me there. Like I spent the first 5 years of my career avoiding the one thing that I wasn't good at because I didn't want to be exposed to by the players, and the players would be like, Tim's useless.
Right.
He can't tackle. We need to get this guy out of here. You know? So I'd be avoiding every tackle drill in the world. And if you look at me, you can see pretty quickly that I'm not a big, strong guy like a Sonny. I played the same position as Sonny Williams and Martin Onu, I'm clearly a different specimen to those two. And so being technically good at tackling was like fundamental. To get any further, I'd have to be really good at tackling. But I was avoiding tackle drills because I was scared of looking like an idiot in front of my mates. And the boys would be like, why is Tim in this team? Fast forward a few years, I was the complete opposite. Like, if I wasn't making a fool of myself at training by trying to kick with my left foot, by being happy getting bumped off by someone because I knew that I was improving, and that was the only way, like my whole mindset changed to like, if I'm not making mistakes, this is not okay. And so I really believe that it's a fundamental skill. And I do say skill is the right word. This is something that can be developed. If you want to get stronger physically, you lift weights. If you want to develop the skill set of actually walking towards hard things is good for me because of the reasons that I've just sort of given, like you can do that very simply. I do one thing every day that in my mind is training the skill set.
I like that.
And it's very simple. It's completely controllable, but it's just like lifting weights. You have to do it regularly for a long period of time. I do this every day, once a day, and it's training that skill set of making myself do something that I don't want to do, and that's looking at the shower handle. And being in the morning, and I'm looking at the shower handle, I'm like, what am I going to do here? Am I going to take this nice, easy, warm shower, or am I going to have this cold shower that I do not enjoy at all? Every day I go to the cold, and it's like I've just, and 5 seconds in, it feels like a normal shower now. It doesn't really affect me.
Yes.
But it's the mindset of choosing to do that thing that I don't want to do in the middle of winter in Christchurch, I
love that.
And that's the neural pathway that I feel like I'm training. I'm leaning towards this thing that's challenging every day. So walking towards other challenges that you have to walk towards in business become a little bit more easy.
Yeah, it is where the gold is, right? No doubt. Yeah,
100%.
And whether that's selling something or making a hire or signing a lease or whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
that seems to be where the gold is.
Yeah. Do you think a little bit of ignorance is helpful too in business?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the opposite of that would be to overthink something and overanalyze, which I'm guilty of also. But I think you're right. I think a bit of ignorance and a bit of just action over, thinking is probably good at times.
Yeah, it's almost like there's this balance. Obviously, too much ignorance, you're setting yourself up for challenges that potentially didn't need to be there. Yeah. But I just reflect on my own, and I realise I'm so early. I'm at a start line. By no means have we been successful, but if I knew what it was going to take to get to where we've got to now, would I have leant into things? Would I have chosen to do it? I'd love to say, yeah, absolutely. I would have backed myself. But because I didn't know how hard it would be, I walked into it, with sort of a few blinkers on, and was like, I'll back myself to figure these challenges out. And I think that's part of it too. Part of it is you've just got to have a real trust in yourself and the people around you that when challenges come, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out,
Yeah, it's a good point, and that was one of the things that came up at that conference that we did. Was one of the speakers, his whole answer to what is the most important characteristic of an entrepreneur, and he said problem solving, which kind of summarizes that.
Yeah,
meaning you're not going to know all the answers, but if you can figure it out and think quickly and adjust, then that's the essence, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like every successful product or brand or business that we know right now, they didn't have it figured out.
No.
What they are now is not what they were 6 months ago, what they were 2 years ago, what they were 5 years ago.
And that's the cool thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about business is that you can create, there's no real, it's more of a creative pursuit than a technical, analytical pursuit, don't you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, and you've just got to be prepared to weather the storms and figure out the problems. Like, Lime skirted here. You remember when Lime came out in Christchurch? And it was just like, how are these things even legal? Like I'm flying 30k down the road, no helmet, like kids are jumping on it, taking it everywhere. It's
That's
like
a good point.
The amount of problems, I guarantee it created, injuries, all this sort of stuff, But they knew that they'd figure that stuff out. Now there's helmets and there's age restrictions and there's different parts of the technology around if you're after a certain time, around drinking or anything like that, sort of tests that you've got to make sure you get through to be able to actually access the technology. It'll get better and better and better and better and safer. And again, like the question I always have is like, should Lime not have been a thing because of all the damage that it caused? I don't think so. I think it's like there's a need and there's something and we'll figure out the problems as we go. Like a lot of people are scared of AI and what's going on in that space. It's like the problems, we've got to back ourselves to figure stuff out as we go, or else we're just never going to move anywhere,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, that sort of goes back to what we're saying, isn't it? It's the opposite of doing that hard thing. It's the safe thing, and the safe thing doesn't usually advance anyone or anything. So I guess that is that pendulum, isn't it? Too risk adverse, too much danger, too much risk. Like, is that good? Is that right? Or is it better to play it safe? And I've got to think over this side's better.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, or at least understanding your risk appetite. We do, I think, like a risk appetite statement around all the fundamental areas of the business and like how much risk are we prepared to take here? Whether that be, service related, whether that be health and safety related, whether that be financial related, whether that be the types of owners that we want to work with, like understanding the levels of risk, because it's different for everyone. There's no right here. Like there's some things, health and safety, for example, for a client, really low risk appetite.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we're looking after every person that comes in as best we possibly can. Can we remove all risk? No. But what are all the things that we can do to build into a system to make sure that if someone's coming in to use a sauna and an ice bath, that they're going to be safe? Will we get it right? Probably not. There'll probably be something that will happen at some stage, along the way. But what are we doing to make sure that we're trying to mitigate that risk as much as possible? But if the goal is to remove all risk, then we wouldn't have it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And it wouldn't be a thing. So there's risk with everything. It's understanding what you're doing around it.
Yeah, I guess if you amplify those numbers at some point, it doesn't equal zero, right?
No, exactly.
Like, you look at, say, Tesla, for example, and the self-driving tech, like it's unfortunate that people have died with it, but it's kind of inevitable, right? It can't be perfect. So
it can't be. You're right. And it's, what's the alternate? It's always
that's exactly it. Do nothing
and do nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's, to think that someone will get hurt in a sauna one day, that's for me, it's like, shit, that's tough to think about. But are we prepared to do everything we possibly can to not have that happen? Yes. Am I prepared to say we're never going to have saunas in our spaces because there's a potential risk here that someone may have had some unknown heart-related thing before they came in and didn't talk to their doctor or whatever it was? But yeah, you can't get away from risk in business.
Yeah, agreed. So you guys have run the franchise model, right? Yeah. What made you, if I may, what made you choose that route versus going, just owner? You owning them all, like rolling them out normally.
Yeah.
Not normally, sorry. But
no, I get it. It's a great question. And I'm probably not as good an answer. But
gooder?
Yeah, as good an answer. I think like ultimately we believe that these places will be more successful with someone who's really in the game, in the community, driving it forward.
Yeah.
Like if you think about the best restaurants you go to, the best cafes, the best gyms, the best places, very often the places that just have that culture, have that, they go that little bit further, they care more. You've got a really engaged owner.
Yeah.
There's no quicker way to start sort of peeling away the cracks in a business if you've got leadership who don't really care. And you can have the best managers in the world. You can have the best people completely aligned with your thinking and the way you want to achieve things. They're never going to care as much as an owner. So having an owner that is driving communities, like these are real community spaces. You know, if you think about, I think about Rachel and Rolleston, we actually signed that lease ourselves. We were opening that studio as us.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was going to be our second studio.
Yeah.
About sort of 3 or 4 months into people knowing in Rolleston that it was coming, we just started getting reached out to by people that wanted to buy it. And we were like, no, I need to understand how we can do this from afar, and you know, we want this ourselves. But when I met Rachel, it was like her care for Rolleston, the Rolleston community, trumped mine to it wasn't even in the same ballpark.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the level of detail that she's gone into every single side to make sure that it lands well in the community. She's out the sports teams and schools and local businesses and her friends and her family, and you know, you can't compare. And that's what drives the success of a business. So that was ultimately what it was, as an owner, was one. 2, scaling quickly and effectively with capital. Franchising is easier. You know, we didn't have to come up with $30 million to open whatever, however many locations.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so utilising capital to be able to scale quickly. But also, I just think it's a better product. I really do. I think I get a real kick of empowering an owner to run their own thing.
That's
like
cool,
I do.
yeah.
It's you know, I think about Tony Ensor, our owner of Studio Queenstown. He's an ex-rugby player too, actually, played up in France. And I think about his growth. It's honestly, it's like one of the things I'm most satisfied with everything we've done at Oak Studios was what Tony was like prior to, like, worried about retiring from rugby over in France and what am I going to do. So now he's running this incredible business and he's just amazing.
Wow.
Like, he's doing things that he can't believe that he's doing.
Wow.
You know?
So good.
It is, and that's so rewarding. And so, like, yeah, I love that. So I'd say, yeah, the combination of it, it's a better product. It scales more effectively, quicker, easier, capital-wise, just everything around that. But also just my passion of helping someone else run something successfully. That's that's a real driver.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think with franchises, there's such a massive spectrum, right? Like there's such a broad range of different models, different values within that whole cohort, right? So I think if you almost reframe or reword the arrangement to a partnership or a joint venture, and therefore it's quite a different dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Like franchise is technically what it is, but it's a meeting of two people to share resources and to work together, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And actually, there's a lot in that. Like even franchisee, franchisor, we never use that language. It's not language. It's support office and franchise owners.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
You know, like we don't sit up here and you sit down here. It's like it really is an aligned incentive.
Yeah.
Like we need them to be successful. They need us to help. We need the client to have a good experience. Like we've all got this really aligned incentive. And the beauty with franchising is that we've got, 8 or 13 owners around the country in different locations, and they're all helping each other. Business can be quite lonely, when you're running your own thing. But when you're running a business that you've got 12 other owners around the country that are doing the same thing, wanting the same results, and we sort of give really good benchmarking each month to understand where everyone else is at. So it's like, why has Queenstown done this so effectively? What did they do? Jump on the phone to Tony. How did you get that many new people coming in that week? So you end up sort of all boats rise with the tide, if that makes sense.
No, that's great.
But I think about what we've created. It's probably a little bit different to a standard franchise. Like we've got 4 key values: is we innovate, we connect, we excite, we deliver. So innovation in franchising is not that common. It's like, here goes the model. This is your Subway. This is what you have to buy. This is how exactly you have to do. Every colour there is this. This is what you open. This is, We're not that. We're like, wellness and recovery is early. We want to take risks with you. Like the way we do all our internal stuff with those studios, like they're our pioneers. Like everyone that came to New Zealand at some stage, whether you're from the islands, Māori coming, or whether you're European that came, we all pioneered to get here. I think pioneering is in our DNA here in New Zealand. We're trying to pioneer what wellness and recovery really is back out to the world. And so like, I've been really open and honest with all our owners. We don't have all the answers to everything.
No.
We've got studios that are going to be putting in hyperbaric oxygen therapy and red light therapy and different types of pricing and different models and different layouts. And because we're all trying to figure out, like, what is this? How is this done well? The opportunity is clearly there. Like, all our studios average between 40 and 80 brand new clients, first time visits every week.
Wow.
Each studio.
Wow.
So this is like, in Takapuna this week, there'll be 80 people that walk in the door for the first time.
Wow.
You know, and we don't do huge amounts of advertising. It's all word of mouth, people coming in. And so there's a market for wellness and recovery. We know that, but we don't have the perfect model. We don't have the answers to every question. We need owners who are like pioneering.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
That's cool.
that's I'm really open with all our owners. Like, if you want something that's like cookie cutter, tick, there you go. This is it. O Studio is not for you.
No.
If you want to help create what O Studio is becoming, I'd love to talk with you further, you know?
Yeah. This is it. Yeah. And I guess like a lot of things that are evolving and changing, as is the franchise world. And so we're probably going to see more and more of this style of operating versus the more traditional ones that are like, do not deviate out of this rule book. You're not, and that's more like a job, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like technically they're owners, but
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Like that's, but there are people that want that. There are people that want to be like, tell me to paint my numbers.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to follow a checklist of everything that's going to happen, and I want to walk through it slowly, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
If that's for you, there's business models out there, I'm sure, that would suit you well.
Yeah.
But if you want to sort of push and figure out, like, I think we can do this better, and I want to test it like this. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and we've got, that's in the DNA of our group. Like, a lot of the best stuff has come from our franchise owners.
Very cool.
Like Brooke and Hamilton. I shouldn't really name names because everyone has done it at different times. But
yeah.
what she did around her pre-launch, sold her memberships out immediately, has done it, just did lots of really different stuff in the tech space.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how do we make sure everyone can do this now?
How valuable is that though, right? Being able to take that and then apply it across all new.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And she's standing on the shoulders of everyone before her that helped her. Like, her fit out, for example, was a lot smoother comparatively to the earlier studios because they had to weather a lot more storms. And I mean, I'd love to be able to say we've got everything figured out. We know every possible thing that could go wrong, and we've got plans for all those things, but we don't. Like, and so
That'd be a bit boring though.
It would be, but I mean, I care. I care about our owners' success more than anything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't know how much I care about them being successful, you know? And so it's like, I'd love for them to not have to experience problems, you know? I would love that, but the reality is that's not the case. There will be more problems that will come up, I'm sure.
Yeah, got it. And what about Aussie? What's happening over there?
Oh, that's the, it's really exciting, that is. We, as I talked about our mission earlier, you know, that if we're going to make this as practiced as physical fitness, having one location is not enough. You know, just being in New Zealand is not enough. We think there'll be 20 to 25 locations in New Zealand. So we're probably 60% of the way there, you know, and there's a lot more to be done. There's a lot more that needs to be, support that needs to be wrapped around New Zealand. We're not dropping the ball in New Zealand by any stretch. These are our pioneers. These are the ones that everything has to benefit. But the reality is the market, there's a bigger market in Australia, and there's a lot of communities that could do with an O Studio in their community. And so it had to effectively satisfy three things. It had to align with our mission. That was an obvious tick. The second thing is we couldn't do it by ourselves. We would have to do it with a partner that's going to add value and aligns with our values, aligns with our way of thinking. And the partner that we have in Australia is incredible. So Be Well Brands is our JV partner. They own Jets International, so they have the Jets franchise in Australia. You know, there's 130 locations, but they're also in the UK, India, Thailand, the Netherlands. In New Zealand, Jets is owned separately by a different group, and so it's a little bit like it's a different model here in New Zealand. But they're just a really good franchise system. You know, like it's funny. Like if we're looking for a location in Auckland, it's me or Matty going up to Auckland, being like, this looks all right.
Yeah,
like
looks all right.
There's a supermarket down there and somewhere, isn't there, you know? And like we look at their systems, and it's like they can effectively pinpoint all the spots in Australia that this is where you need to build an studio, and then they'll have people go and negotiate leases, and before we've even found people, and you know, that's just once again, you know, they'll build a tech system that will be able to roll out in Australia and in New Zealand. So everyone's going to benefit from this relationship.
Wow.
So that was the second thing. And then the third thing is like, what is the right time to do this? I don't think there's ever a right time, but the opportunity's there in the market. And so we've just got to we've got to make sure we're sort of capitalising on that as much as possible.
Do you have an opening date for the first location over there, or?
We think it will be late Q1 or early Q2 next year. So all the infrastructure, like Australia is different. Franchising in Australia is different than New Zealand. There's a lot more infrastructure that you need in place around disclosure documentation, a whole heap of legal stuff. And so we are building all that infrastructure. So we effectively can't start actively advertising until we've got a few other things at play. We've got probably 30 inquiries sitting there waiting at the moment around wanting to explore whether this is the right business opportunity for them. So there's lots of people that are waiting. We've got sort of key areas that we want to nail, but our thing is, you know, we think there'll be 100 locations, and the goal is 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
One a month sort of next year is sort of where it is. But then the following year we want to be doing, you know, at least 2 a month.
Wow.
Once again, and that this is them driven a little bit too. Like they understand how to properly scale. Elaine Jobson, the CEO of Jets, and so she works in the Be Well Brands group, who we work with. You know, she rolled out Virgin Active all through South Africa with Richard Branson, and Fitness First all through the UK. You know, where they were opening more than one a week. You know, so it's all about systems and processes and structures. The innovation piece becomes a little bit harder when you're trying to really create consistency and grow quickly. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic to navigate. But it's cool, yeah. Wow.
And so based on their other countries they're operating in, does that mean there'll be a better springboard to go into those markets as well?
Yeah, Australia's definitely our sole focus right now. Like, when I say our sole focus, it's the wrong way to put it. We're resourcing Australia to be able to focus solely on Australia, and we've obviously got the resourcing here in New Zealand to nail New Zealand. They'll benefit one another, but taking another territory or looking at another territory now is not the right time. But yes, as the short sort of answer, we would love to grow beyond there, and we'll get that right to grow through nailing the product, you know, nailing this rollout. So we'll see, yeah.
Wow, interesting. And how did that come about, that dynamic with Be Well? Was it a thing that just came about organically, or? Yeah,
we were looking at options to grow into Australia ourselves, and timing it's an interesting sort of thing how it all plays out. But Elaine and the Be Well team were seeing the movement into recovery and wellness. You know, they are a fitness space. You know, lots of gyms are trying. I think, do I put a sauna in? Do I put an ice bath in? That's a completely different experience to what we've created with O Studio. And so, yeah, she reached out and said, look, we've got this opportunity to, as a brand house, to bring a recovery and wellness brand in under the umbrella. That won't be in a Jets or anything like that. They're completely independent, completely separate. But the way she sort of explained it to me is like they've got a supermarket where they've got all the aisles and conveyor belts and trolleys and systems and processes, but they can only sell Jets.
Yeah.
It's only Jets on the shelf.
Right.
So they want another thing to be able to sell on the shelf using all that same supermarket infrastructure.
Yeah, cool.
And I was a little bit hesitant at the beginning. I was like, is this the right way to do it? Very quickly I found out that she's incredible. Like, she's amazing. You know, experience is unbelievable, but just she's a good person. First thing I do, I went and bought her book. She's written a book called High Performance Through Happy People.
Okay.
And It's all around good profit and how you do things effectively to instill a really good culture. And that aligned with me. I mean, in professional sport, I can see how much culture impacts performance. I see it every day, how much the culture in an organisation affects performance. How do you create a good culture? They've been in the top 10 in Australia pretty much every year since she's been there, around places to work. And
wow.
So, yeah, she's a good person. They had the infrastructure. She came out to New Zealand, looked through all our facilities. They obviously went all through their due diligence. Is this the right? Are we the right people to work with? And ultimately, they thought we were the right people, and started a long sort of too long a sort of discussion around how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Not too long a discussion, but it would have been great to get it all finalised sooner. But we got there, and now we're into it.
I guess it's a bit like dating, though. You don't want to rush certain things, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to go straight from first date to marriage. It is good to have a phase.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think it's just my impatience sometimes. I reckon
I
you're the
can
right
relate.
partner. You reckon we're the right? Can we just do this?
Let's just do it. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
But no, you're right. And so, it's exciting. But, and a lot of people are saying, congratulations at the moment. That's awesome about Australia. The honest truth is there's nothing to congratulate just yet.
No.
We've earned ourselves a really cool new start line, but we've got so many things still to do in New Zealand, and so many things to get right to really be able to be like, okay, you guys have done a good job there. So that's where our focus is.
It does depend on which way you look at it, right? Like I hear what you're saying, but then on the other hand, it's like, hey, you've got this far, like that is a win in itself, right? Even if it didn't work for whatever reason, it's still a win.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think we're probably wired similarly in that, our natural tendencies are always to see the things that we haven't got right, and that we still need to fix, and that we still can achieve, and where we can take things. And I'm trying to get better at, I don't want to look back in 10 years and be like, I was dissatisfied for 10 years because I knew we had so much more to do.
Yeah.
I want to be able to jump in and out of that mindset and be able to step out and be like, yeah, this is awesome. Man, this is great. We're going to Australia? Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But I need to train that a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. And what about the podcast? How long have you guys been doing that?
Yeah, so I don't know if we've done 100, but it'd be close, I'd say. Once again, it's all around the mission. If we're going to make recovery and wellness as understood as physical fitness, we have to educate. If we want to make it accepted, we've got to normalise this stuff. How does someone like Tom Walsh utilise these types of things in his life? How does someone like Lucy Hone, who's an author on grief, an incredible lady, but how is she thinking about this stuff? And so, we want to educate really well on things and make it normal. We don't want it to be this, another thing I have to do. I've got to train, I've got to eat, now I've got to do this bloody recovery. How can we make it something exciting? And podcasting, as you know better than most, it's a really good medium to really understand something, and really connect with something. And so sometimes it feels like a job because it's like it's only a small part of what we do, but it's actually really important. We have some really cool guests, or we'll discuss a topic around performance or wellness or recovery or business. Yeah,
it's cool how it is an asset as well, right? Like it's got a very evergreen nature to it, like even if you're talking about things that are topical and relevant to the time, it's not going anywhere, right? It's on the archives. Like the stories and feedback that I've heard from some people that have either done a full deep dive back to the very start of this, or listened to a random episode ad hoc and then made a connection, or there's been a few business partnerships come out of this, or numerous other stories of people getting value from the podcast, which is super cool.
It is really cool.
As a platform, as a technology that didn't exist 20 years ago. It's pretty cool.
Why do you think it's become a technology that people enjoy so much?
I guess it's taking traditional media and bringing it into a more accessible production method, right? Like meaning, you used to have to make a film or a documentary or go on the news or something like that, right? Which was really hard and really inaccessible. Whereas now I think, anyone, like literally how I started was driving to the coast, Kelly's Creek. I don't know if you know where that is, but it's a very isolated stop off, right? I literally started with the iPhone and just recording on voice notes and then uploading to Podbean. Like there's very low barriers to entry. So I think, I don't know, like where we're at in the podcast, like lifespan, like I feel like it's maybe a little bit wavy and that people come in and out of it. But I feel like it's just another tool in the bag, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
I'm sure, I don't know, 8 years ago, if someone said, hey, look, people are going to want to listen to 2-hour-long conversations on like, two people talking.
In a yarn, yeah.
People would be like, what? Like, no.
No.
Everything's getting shorter. Everything's getting like, it's all around like, how quick can I keep someone's attention? But people seem to be leaning back into like something a little bit, I wonder why that is. What's driving that?
I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that short form content is not necessarily providing value, like actual value, and so maybe there's just that repellent maybe toward that. I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
Yeah.
I don't like. How about you from a personal consumption standpoint? Do you listen to a lot of podcasts, longer, shorter?
Yeah, for me, it's the same type of thing as you. Like if I'm driving somewhere, or if I'm training, are the two main times. If I'm in a sauna, that's usually when I'm listening to an audiobook or a podcast. And sometimes I want to listen to something that I'm learning, and other times I just want to be able to check out and just sort of listening to something light, in the background that doesn't take too much brain power.
Got it. Yeah.
I think it's something around authenticity or something around like it's real. This conversation's a real conversation. We're having a proper conversation about something like a curated 30-second piece of content or a 2-minute interview on something. You're just not getting true. You're not getting
actual
real,
truth. Yeah,
you're just not. And I think as things become a little bit more, there's a lot out there. There's a lot happening. I think people are sort of wanting to connect with something real. Something that's tangible and real. That's unedited and not perfect, and it's just, I think people want that a little bit more. As I said, I don't know either, but it's an interesting phenomenon.
It is interesting if you look at, say, Joe Rogan and how his success has been achieved and just how long those episodes can be. They're massively long, right?
3 hours.
3 hours. So I don't know, maybe the longer the better. I don't know.
I think he's the number one in the world.
I feel like he's up there. If not the one.
I mean, I enjoy some of his interviews with interesting people, interesting conversations. I think he's a master of like curiosity. He's just curious.
He just
like,
asks, right?
He's got some interesting takes on stuff, which is like fine and funny, and he's a comedian. But I enjoy him, eh?
Yeah.
You're right. The 3 hour, like listening to a 3 hour, it's like, what? Listen to a 3 hour conversation. But I think, once again, what you get with those, it's just a real unpolished, even the start of their episode, sometimes it's just like literally the mic will start and the conversation's already started, and it's like halfway through a word it sort of just starts recording. It's like you've just stepped in on something that's going on rather than this polished thing that's been made for you.
Totally, yeah.
As I say, I think there's something in the authenticity side of it.
I think you're right. I'm still trying to nail the start because I love just you rock, and maybe that's the way to do it. You just start. There's no formal intro or there's no actual start. It's always rolling, and it just starts however it starts. Not sure.
And that's what it sounds like with him. Yeah. Whereas someone like Stephen Bartlett, Diary CEO, who I'm a big fan of too, like I feel like that's almost the other end of that spectrum.
Very engineered, right?
And once again, I'm a fan of it, so I don't know. Like he's, I often I'd love to see the way that's actually done. I'd love to see whether there's a lot more dialogue before, or if they cut stuff and put it at the beginning, because often his first question is very like on the nose.
So direct, yeah.
It's like bang, you're straight into it.
Yeah.
So as I say, I like that sometimes, but other times I'm like, I just want to have something light. Yeah.
It is interesting though, isn't it? Two completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Joe Rogan, probably no planning, no, just loose, right?
Yeah.
And then highly engineered, both highly successful in their own right. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Who do you listen to more?
I don't really listen to any, to be honest. Like I've never listened to a full Joe Rogan for context, and Stephen Bartlett, haven't really been getting into them lately either. So
who do you listen to? What do you listen to?
Books occasionally. Yeah. I sort of went on a bit of a book bender last couple of years, just trying to max out numbers. So trying to aim for 50 books or 60, something arbitrary, right?
Yeah.
And then I read or listened to something that encouraged the idea of like learning or studying a book rather than just consuming it. So I took that approach this year. And so I just want to listen to 12 to 20 books, but intimately know them.
Yeah.
It's not going overly well, to be honest with you, but that's the theory.
Any books that you'd think actually that's worth a listen?
Die with Zero.
Die with Zero, I've heard of that.
That one really comes to mind. I really like that one. Maybe it's about the stage I'm in, or maybe it's just like the age, but I just really resonated with it.
Yeah.
It's not an overly complicated book, and I think that's actually a trend. For example, The Obstacle is the Way.
Yes.
Again, you can just read the title.
Yeah.
It gives it away, right?
Yeah.
And so those are a couple that come to mind. Do you have an all-time favorite or a couple of bangers that you like?
I really do. I mean, of late, one of my favorite books is actually called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. It's just a gun book. Okay. Like, especially for any parents out there too. Like, it's a very simple. You'd read it in 30 minutes. But it's just, there's so much philosophy, like so much deep truth that sits in this little story. Like my girls and I, when they were younger, because my girls are 19 and 17 now, would open to a page and read just one part of the book, and then we'd talk about it. Like, what's this about? What do we think? What's going on there? And there's just, once again, there's so much depth in there.
Wow.
So that's a weird one. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying. When I say at the moment, the last couple of years, I've loved like listening to stories of people who have created things.
I like that too. Yeah, the biography or autobiography genre. I really like that too. Yeah,
like the story of Nike.
Such a good book. Yeah.
McDonald's, Apple. People that have like pushed and created and weathered the storms and be like, okay, this is normal. Yeah, it's hard. There's some crazy stuff that goes on. It takes a lot of luck. There's a lot of things they have to work out. But one I'm reading at the moment, which I'm really enjoying, is called The Courage to be Disliked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's really interesting. Yeah. It's a different take on philosophy. I don't know if you know much about, I don't know a huge amount about this, but like Freudian philosophy, like Freud, Adler and Jung were sort of three different takes on philosophy. Freud, which is well established as the sort of mainstream way of that things work, is the way you are now as a reflection of past traumas, effectively, things that have gone on in your world. Adler, what this book is sort of shaped around, is it's more about orienting towards goals. What has happened previously shouldn't dictate the way that things really are, and so it's very counter to quite mainstream sort of thinking, and it's very interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think I started reading that, but just couldn't do it. Yeah, and I've started doing that. I've started bailing on books if it's just not feeling it.
Yeah, I think that's just as important, isn't it?
I think so.
If it's not doing anything for you, why let it take your time?
Don't go through it. Yeah. Have you come across any Daniel Priestley stuff?
I've seen him on the Diary of a CEO a couple of times. He seems like a gun.
He's got some good stuff, and James Smith actually.
Yeah,
PT. He's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
His books, I enjoyed those, but and the Hormozy stuff's kind of good. Yeah. There's no shortage of information. That's one thing, right?
No.
Yeah, it's more about the doing, right? It's more about just doing those. I saw that clip. I don't know if you saw it. It was the Diary of the CEO with Kevin O'Leary. He's talking about like the 3 to 5 things.
Okay.
And he's talking about Steve Jobs being just all focus, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's not healthy and maybe that's not something to aspire to. But the point was that if you just do these 3 to 5 things every day that you actually know will help move forward, you're probably going to grow faster. But, day-to-day life, busyness, other things come in, and to actually do those 3 to 5, it's way harder than it seems.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been experimenting with this for the last few months, and again, it's a work in progress, but I'm not nailing it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it's almost.
But it's very interesting though.
Yeah. And you're so right. It's so simple that it makes it so hard almost. It's like figure out what you want to do. Like make sure they're a priority and make sure you're doing them every day. Yeah. And they keep on coming back in front of you and saying, well, what are you doing today that's aligned with these 3 things that you've decided are really important? If you applied that to anything, you think about the 3 things that you should be doing in your relationship to make your relationship better, and that was in front of you every day and you had to do something every day, I guarantee your relationship will improve.
Yeah, 100%.
Health, anything is achievable, but I think there's wisdom in that. It's like understanding what you want, understanding, and I think that comes from understanding who you are, which is a little bit more complex. One thing I sort of, I think I put a lot of time into around trying to understand my intrinsic drivers. There's a book called The Winner's Bible. Like it's honestly, I think that changed my life, that book.
Wow.
It was probably 12 years ago, something like that. More, 15 years ago. But that was like a fundamental change in my whole world, that book.
Yeah, wow.
And
Winner's Bible.
He's a Kiwi guy, actually, Kerry Spackman. And that has had the biggest impact, but effectively you build your own sort of Winner's Bible. It sounds like a NAF's title, but one of the exercises in there is understanding your intrinsic drivers, the things that really make you tick, like understanding because how many times do you hear that? Like, I don't know what my passion is, or I'm trying to figure out what I'm really about. But how do you do that? This was quite a cool sort of process that they take you through in the book. And then you're trying to orient your life towards those things. But I'm sure you've got ways to do that with your business people.
I mean, the way to reframe it, I think, is what are you curious about? Like, what are you interested in? Because passion is such a funny word, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does it even mean?
Yeah.
Like, I like Arepas, but am I passionate about them?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, well, this is interesting. I'm interested to hear your take on this, because what the exercise that you do in this book is the top of the page, you just list all the things you like.
Right.
So I like Arepas.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was like I enjoy rugby.
Yeah.
I enjoy podcasts and books. I enjoy being out in nature. I enjoy, in XYZ, like listing just the things that you enjoy doing at the top. And then underneath each of those, like, what do I actually enjoy about having a coffee with mates? What do I actually enjoy about rugby? What do I actually enjoy about being out in nature? What do I actually enjoy about podcasts? What do I actually enjoy about Arepa, the drink? And then you start listing them out, things that you actually enjoy about the coffee with your mates. So for me, it was like, I feel like I'm like learning something interesting with it. I love the conversations. It's not the coffee, it's the conversation.
Yes, yeah.
I love the fact that I may have given him something that he can take away and he's like, man, that's gold, and it's helping him.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that I've learned something too. And anyway, you do that with all the things that you just enjoy. And I stepped back and looked at mine. I was like, they're all the same thing. The underlying reasons why I enjoyed those things were exactly the same. And it came down to two clear things for me. Like, it was just like so stark. It was so obvious it wasn't funny. It was, I have a real passion to push myself to be as successful as I can be in something that's meaningful, but never getting tied up in that my value is tied to my success. Like, I've got to be careful with that. But like pushing myself and is something that I'm passionate about. It's why I enjoyed rugby. It was what I enjoyed about lots of different stuff. And secondly, like helping people. Like, so if I need to find a career where I'm pushing myself and helping people, I know that if I can find something that's working in that window, I'm satisfying a passion.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's ultra simple, but far out it was valuable. It's literally why I've decided to do what I'm doing now, and it's why I find it easy. And yeah.
But it's cool in that you could apply those two requirements to so many other things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It just happens to be in the recovery space.
Exactly. And
but it could be anything.
It literally could be anything.
Yeah,
but if I wasn't feeling like I was really helping people in my job, like, I wouldn't feel fulfilled. If I wasn't feeling like I was really challenged in what I was doing, I wouldn't feel fulfilled,
Do you think a lot of entrepreneurs have those same two things?
Quite potentially, yeah.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably why the relationship I've chosen is relationship. It's such a challenge, like no, it's yeah, and it's they give examples of some others, and I've seen other people do it, and they're completely different. Like, for one example, his was around going fast.
Right.
He just got this sense of like why do he love motorbikes? Why do he love what he was doing in business and career and stuff? It was all about like fast.
That
adrenaline rush, And so like he needs to be doing that. If he's not in a career or something that's really aligned with speed, like, you're just not going to get that tick.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Yeah. Have you read or heard of Ikigai?
Ikigai.
Yeah. So that's like a great,
yep.
thing for me. I love that concept, all that. belief or that idea of the overlapping pillars essentially, right? And so, luckily enough, I've sort of found my ikigai with what I'm doing now. It's taken 42 years, but
What is it?
well, it's the coaching, it's the creation of the community of like-minded business people. The podcast is a part of that, but I've always been entrepreneurial, but I think like the previous businesses have, I don't know, there's been something kind of missing. There's just been a component missing, and maybe it is I don't know. It'd be interesting to analyze each one, but I think really being in the spot I'm in now, I just feel so lucky in it. I'm stoked to have found it, because I don't think not everyone finds it. That's a real shame.
Yeah.
And partly I think curiosity can really help with that process.
Why do you think they don't find it?
Just comfort, I think. Either comfort or the unwillingness to experiment and to explore. I think that theory of like who you hang out with as well. So like if you're hanging out with 5 people that are in a similar spot and content or okay with not having found that, I think it's probably going to be a lot harder to go do something completely different.
Yeah. Yes, I couldn't agree more.
And again, it's a real shame, and I think part of like the bigger holistic goals for both this and the events we do is to really try to enable people to think bigger and bolder and like do something, right?
Yeah.
Like do something that's either more in line with their own like DNA or their own skills or interests, and sort of, create that or find their own ikigai.
Yeah, it's like this Courage to be Disliked book. If that philosophy was overlaid over that question, the answer that they would say is because they're choosing not to.
Yeah, that's the simple way, right?
It's like, whereas a different way of looking at it is because of stuff that's happened and because of the way I am as a person and the way that things have happened in my world, like I'm not able to. Whereas the ultimate sort of responsibility is actually I'm choosing to be in this. And that's really hard. It's an element of, it feels cruel, it feels tough, it feels like unfair. But I think even if it's wrong, I think the mindset is right, that ultimately we're in control of what we choose to do, and everything is a choice, and so what's more important to us, because that could be the best thing for them not doing it.
Absolutely.
It's a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I just always come back to the idea of, being aged and just having regrets. I just do not like that idea of, coming to the end of life or even any point between now and the future, right? And just having regrets. I really try to reduce that. Yeah, and if possible.
You've just got to be really intentional, don't you? Like Laura and I were speaking the other night, and it's like, all right, what are these next 10 years are going to look like? What is this actually going to be? It's like, okay, this could be pretty mad. This next 10 years could be full on. Our girls are at the age where one's at university, one's just coming into their last year of high school. Like the next 10 years, it could be a really good work, like just get into things time as well.
Yeah.
But if I just had that focus, what's going to happen to our relationship? Like, okay, what are we going to make sure we nail every week, every day, every year, every whatever in our relationship, so that when we get in 10 years' time, we haven't just dropped the ball there. Like, what does it look like for our family? And almost try and reverse engineer what you want in 5 years and 10 years. But you need to be clear on what that is. So for me, it's like, what do I want in my health in 10 years? What do I want financially in 10 years? What do I want in my relationship in 10 years? What are my friendships? What do I want in my extended family? Like what do I want in here? And what am I going to do to make sure that I achieve what I want to achieve for us? I think we've just got to be really intentional. I'm not going to say I want to be intentional. For others, that's like, why the hell would I think about that? That's admin. I'm happy just doing what I want, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
But once again, I think understanding yourself, if that's something that's important, make it happen. If it's not, great.
Yeah. I mean, I love that, and luckily enough, I spend most of my day talking about that, about goal setting and about like creation of ideals, right? Like, what do you want it to look like? These different elements. Business is one part of it, but I think there's definitely more important or equally important components. Meaning, if you don't have health, like that saying, the healthy person wants a gazillion things.
Yeah.
the unhealthy person wants one thing.
Yeah.
I think having, I wouldn't say experienced extreme health challenges, but definitely whenever I've been through something, couldn't resonate further that belief, right? Or that saying.
Yeah, I mean that's it's certainly our story. With my wife, and my wife has multiple sclerosis, and it's changed our whole world. It's why we're doing what we're doing now. But yeah, definitely, and we see it too with the clients coming into our studio. Like, there's a lot of, you always think you're the only one battling something. You think you're the only one with that stress or that relationship problem or that work-related thing or that health thing that's sneaking in, or a family member who's got something. It's like, actually, everyone is battling something in some way.
Yeah.
And it always blows our minds, actually, some of the stuff that people are carrying around,
Yeah.
Life can be heavy, it can, but once again, what are we doing about it? That's the question.
On a global stage, we're so lucky, right? Like, if you look at other people that are born around the world, don't have running water, don't have a house. Like, we've got it pretty good, right?
We do.
And I know there's definitely difficulties within New Zealand, but I think we're still all pretty good, right?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
And I think with the combination of where we're at with technology and just, I just feel like there's unlimited opportunity out there. It is exciting. I feel like we're living in a really exciting time. It's like Laura and I were talking about it yesterday. It's like, I feel so lucky to have grown up and had our young years in the 90s. Totally. 100%.
I think I got a cell phone in 2005 or something, and I was 17 or 18,
Yeah.
We moved to Japan when we were probably 22, something like that, Laura and I, when I played rugby up there, and we got Facebook in Japan. You know what I mean? Like, there's this thing called Facebook. It's like, I don't know, our girls didn't grow up with any of that. They had no technology either. Like, we were quite hard on that. But now, like, I just feel like it's a special, there's a lot of chaos out there, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this is a really interesting time to be alive. Like, if you zoom out in the human race, the history of what's gone on, it's like, wow, this is a pretty special time to be living.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what will transpire in the next year. I've done this a few times with guests. I've either had them back on multiple times. And the initial episode, or every episode for that matter, acts as a bit of a time capsule, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like we're in 26th of September.
11/11.
I know, that's a good sign.
It is.
That's always a good sign. 2025, like, if you were to make some predictions for this time next year, it's kind of anyone's guess, right? With regards to a lot of technology-related things, especially. What are we going to see? Are we going to see, like, bots by that stage? I don't know, maybe. Full self-driving just came here.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of unknowns, like software tech. We don't know how advanced that's going to become. Even in the next few weeks, let alone 12 months.
Yeah.
So
it is. And, yeah, I mean, it feels like humans and technology are sort of converging in some way. If you just think about, like, once again, to zoom out, like, effectively all of us right now we're part cyborgs, really. We can access all information right at our fingertips. It's just not connected to us. It feels like it's only getting more connected to us,
I think so.
And so what that becomes, I don't know, but there's going to be challenges with it for sure. But I think the opportunity that comes alongside it is massive.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, just think to this, I've focused on this quarter being health focused. So really simple, counting steps, counting calories, and just with regards to technology, the wearable makes it so easy. The calorie tracker makes it so easy, and it's very clear. There's high visibility. Yeah. So I think it's just about using it,
What do you do about recovery, stress, that type of stuff?
I try to allow enough white space in the schedule in the week that I've got some breathing room, I've got some time to, either spend just doing nothing, intentionally nothing. That's my
intentional
answer.
Nothing. That's a good.
Yeah, and so I feel that there's that bell curve diagram. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's a bell curve. On one axis is stress, and the other is productivity. productivity on the upright axis.
Yeah.
And so it's like that theory that you reach a sweet spot where you're like at peak stress.
Yeah.
And then it's just a downhill thing from there. And so I find that personally, I can just become more and more in tune to that. So when I find myself going down the other side, I just try to ease back.
Yeah.
And, try to spend more time in nature, try to just have more time either journaling or just doing nothing. So
I love it.
yeah, I do, incorporate other elements to it. So like massage and cold immersion and sauna and that. But it's more just about mental clarity and.
Oh, and then that's the key. It's not a one size fits all. But I think it's finding your thing and making sure that you're doing it regularly. That's the key. Like anything, you can't eat healthy once and be healthy.
That's right. Yeah.
If you're looking to try and optimize that curve that
Yeah.
you've just spoken about, it's like, what are you doing in that space that's good for you? Is that being out in the sun? Is that being out in nature? Is that doing something in 5 minutes a day to make sure that you are getting that down regulation so that you can up regulate?
Absolutely. Yeah. Going to the coast actually is one of them as well. Like the drive, for some reason, I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Just being in like nature and on the coast just seems to help as well.
The west coast of the South Island is just the greatest place in the world.
It's underrated.
It's just the greatest place in the world. I go back regularly, and I always walk the same stretch. It's a stretch because I lived at the Paroa schoolhouse for like 5 years. My dad was principal of Paroa School.
Yes.
And so I used to just be on that beach constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll go back and walk that little stretch up behind the Paroa Hotel, or depending on how I'm feeling, I'll go north or south. But I'll always find like pieces of Pounamu, and the sea is just always epic, and it's
So
just
wild,
like,
right?
It's just like, that's the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, well, it's like my tūranga waiwai. That's sort of my, like, where I feel like I belong. You know?
Yeah. That's so interesting. I feel the same way, and maybe it is a part of having spent so much time over there. I don't know. It's really hard to explain though. And that's the other like fun and like mystical thing about life, right? There's a lot of things we do know, can put data on it, but there's also a lot of other unknowns, and call it woo-woo or call it.
Well, this is what my sister always calls me out. It's like, you don't need to have data show you how you feel.
No.
You know? And I do.
There's a bit of bias though, right?
Yeah.
It's like, damn it, I felt like I had a good sleep.
Exactly. But she's like, just become more self-aware. But like it's the same sort of stuff. Just creating space in your day to really acknowledge where you're at, and how are you actually feeling, how are you actually performing, you know?
100%. So good, man. Hey, appreciate your time, Tim.
No worries.
Really good to meet you finally after all these years.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to get you back on for a 12-month anniversary to see what's transpired.
Yeah, I love that.
That'd be fun.
As I mentioned at the beginning, I've heard lots of good things, and there's been so many things going on where I've wanted to do this, and so I'm stoked we can make it happen. But I'd love to jump back on another time for sure.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. And then the shameless plug for O Studio, get in there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I've been in heaps before, so love what you're doing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like we're, by the time this is out, we'll probably have, 9 locations open across the country. So a couple in Auckland, Hawke's Bay, Hamilton, the Mount, Wellington, Christchurch, Rolleston, Queenstown. I'd hate if I'd miss something there.
Greymouth?
Yeah, one day.
One day.
But yeah, so it's cool. It's cool having a good sort of spread across New Zealand where people can get into places. So
absolutely.
Yeah, if you're looking for somewhere to step away for a bit, get in there.
Or I guess if you're looking for an opportunity too, right? Like a partner.
Yes.
In certain locations.
Yep. For sure. Yeah, for sure. We've got spots in New Zealand that we're looking at closely. Like, it's not just about opening a studio, it's about understanding where's the opportunity, what does the model look like there, and it's got to lift everything. And
absolutely.
So there's some spots available in New Zealand for sure if anyone's interested to run their own business.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think we've talked everyone out of running business today. But no, I was joking.
Yeah, it's going to be great. No, it's really good, right?
Oh, it is. It's the hard. It's like parenting. I think it's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's like the most rewarding at the same time. You know?
Yeah, that's for sure. I can relate.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Hey, thanks again.
Good
Cheers,
man.
Tim. Thank you.